Hi, my name is Sonia Kraftson. I've missed the deadline for submitting my graduate showcase, but if you're watching this, they've accepted it anyway. It's after midnight. This is about my 100th take. I can't seem to edit, so I have to get it right in one go. Here it is. So, as a mother, as a believer, and as an artist, I want to be more than I am right here. I want even now to invent a better piece of work to share with you. And yet, all I have is my notebook and a pen. So I start transcribing the scraps from here, examining them as if they're worth my time. These bits have turned into mini essays. I'll read them for you today. From 2013 until today, Christine Hume has been in my head, advising me, asking questions, taking me through essay workshops and community outreach initiatives, and generally pointing me forward. I would not be here without her saying to me, "You can do this." I also will read bits from two short stories. One, imagining a mother post-incarceration, seeds of which relate to working with women in the poetry workshop organized by Rob Halpern at Huron Valley Women's Prison. The other story began in a class with Carla Harriman, who spent much time with me in Halley Library going through the details. Two final notes. Special thanks to David Boving for his amazing help. He needs to write a work manifesto on peer review. Also, my writing partner, Melissa Jenks, who has been with me over the long haul and helped me in countless ways. My loyalty is to my husband, Andrew, all of his support and love, amazing, and to the God of the universe who continues to pursue me in my faith and doubt. I'll begin. Subject to change. One notebook. I can't sit and write this on pen. You begin. The Otho pen mark is too thin. You're running out of ink. A new cartridge sits in its plastic, but you can't replace it until this one stops producing lines. Changing cartridges wastes $5. The scratch is still legible, like a grayish, erasable pencil. You pressure the page, but the ink is loose. Its permanent blot makes a huge mark. The words around it drowned. If you work the point, maybe the ball will unclog. Maybe black will flow over the paper again. You pray the line will run out so you can fix it with a new, stronger refill. C tells you to put names of people on cards, those who support you. Her instructions are to stick them on walls and plants, in your pocket, your shoe, under your pillow. Include your own name. Maybe these names are the ones that can lead you to the next mark. And maybe you are your own audience as a line self-generate, drawing and writing something brilliant on paper. Determined to create drawings that are bigger than this room and exceed her expectations, your professor, without committing to any one subject. Draw little bits of tree, house plant, train car, lighter, boxes that appear in your house, and hope she likes you. On frame. Women in your family don't know how to trust in themselves. Your 26-year-old niece says, "I wish someone would just tell me what to do with my life." You don't know what to do next, so you sit, but you can't sit. Wait for one of your kids to ask you to knit them a blanket, draw them a race car, or prepare them a snack. When your mom is nominated to Elder in 1988, your dad uproots the whole family. After 16 years of her playing piano at the Sunday night service, singing in choirs, acting in plays, Thursday night prayer meetings, month-long missions conferences, endless Wednesday dinners, mourning deaths of friends, building mazes for light factory camp. Your dad decides women are not meant to serve in leadership roles as elders. He's always felt this way, always been the one to ensure mom loves, honors, and obeys him. But now he forces you to leave when she's elected against his will. Women can be helpmates and serve in kitchens, but they can't speak on topics about leading men. When you and Dee rebel and go back to Bethany, you meet Pastor Sheldon shaking hands with attendees at the door lining the back of the sanctuary. Waiting for him, you turn and tell him, "We've returned." He holds his hands to his side, saying, "What are you doing here? You are no longer welcome. Your faith in men of the church is complicated." Will your forehead pop out the way your mom's does in the memory unit? The way she starts to read the same line in Jane Eyre, but can't recall who Jane is or identify the meaning in the words. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. From the locked unit, with only 3 by 6 foot patch of yard, her sounds slipping away and only her eyes blinking recognition. Your 9-year-old steps into Knox on a Sunday morning, looks at you with wide eyes and says, "Hey Mom, I just realized all the pastors at our church are men. Why is that?" On caves. You make a cave wall of 9 by 4 foot panels in yellow, purple, green, red, orange, with scratches of layers, images to be installed in the party line closet. You want others to interact and make their own marks on the paper. At the entrance, participants will be instructed to put on headlamps, step into the entrance, find an area and make modern marks with watercolor crayons. You hand 5 classmates crayons and instruct them to draw. They draw climbers and witches and figures. You see the large marks and want to remove them, but don't want to offend the artists. And you want everybody else to come in and make more marks past that. How will you let more people mark on your paper? The answer is to make more walls you care less about. But the problem is that each time you make the next iteration, it becomes precious. Everything you make starts to be more beautiful than you can contain. "It's a rainbow," 3 people comment. "Did you mean to include all those colors?" You nod, indicating you knew it was a rainbow. You intended for it to be a rainbow. "Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful," they say. You paint over the red and orange parts with dark purple and green. All your underlayers end up green. In the textured wall, you see hundreds of hidden faces, masks with eyes peeking through slits. You want to know who the eyes represent, if they are watching you or hiding from you or just versions of yourself hiding. You decide to see them as friendly, or the wall will become the judgy men in your dreams and they'll scare your children. It hangs in the basement stairwell because COVID-19 canceled the show. On 10, you pick up used books. The Performance of Being Human. Addicted to Unhappiness. Humanable. A Project for Future Children. A Manual for Nothing. Art and Fear and Reward. Hoping just reading the titles will give you a label from which to start the next line. On Starry Night. You wake up inside the same house for a month with 3 boys. Today your 4-year-old refuses to drink from a mug with Van Gogh's Starry Night on it. You feel concerned, as if he's rejecting Vincent, and proceed to read a story about a boy who persecutes the real artist. You try to explain Vincent was disabled, acted differently, was unlikable, but it doesn't mean he meant to be. In the story, kids throw things and laugh at him as he makes these strange paintings with violet skies. You imagine being his one friend sharing a scone at the cafe. In the end of the story, the boy is 100 years old at a museum, looking at hay bales in a landscape. He watches the landscape that he watched the artist make 95 years earlier. Then there's this page of notes about the author, who remarks Van Gogh never sold a painting. Didn't stop him, though, from making the work he needed to make. You want us all to be braver. Your 4-year-old still refuses to drink from the Starry Night mug. Online, you're afraid to mess up this line. You won't mess up the marking because you won't risk drawing your impression on the wall or on a piece of expensive paper. Or maybe today you will. The next thing I'm going to read is a bit of the story Pine Barrens, New Jersey, about a 12-year-old girl. I miss having Mom up front. She'd be nostalgic about now and start telling me how they made me toy on account of being in the back seat of the truck. It'd been rainy and they'd been so cold, she'd say, and get all serious for her punchline. It was a matter of survival. Cover my eyes and pretend to fall over. Now I'd take that story if she were here to tell it. Dad insists he'll always keep the car on account of me, though he couldn't afford a new one anyway. Dad waves an arm towards the river. Once in the canoe, he cups his hands under the brown water, tips it into his mouth like he's trying not to spill a drop. Freshest water in the world. I take my yellow notebook, my BB gun, earbuds, and the hen egg I'm incubating. The egg is pale green and it sits in a wool hat inside a cut-off plastic bottle. I put my earbuds in with the plug attached to nothing. Therapist says it's okay to pretend so people won't talk to me. Move my head as if I'm swaying to a mellow song. We follow 3 curves and a long straightaway, the sky in opaque blue, till we spot a sheet of thick gray just above the pines on the left. Dad says, "Where'd those come from?" Says, "Oh well." Says, "We have plenty of time. And a good rain'll feel good anyway." And then a little further in the story, the sounds behind are ah and oh and help, and then a big splash and sand, Dad's girlfriend squealing. I keep my eyes ahead, moving away from the dark sky. I think about bones and rocks and finding that graffiti wall I saw in a book about the Pine Barrens. I pass a plastic bag with empty beer cans inside, look at a pile of large rocks stacked up as high as my chest. At a clearing, I stop. There's a wall on the far side of the field. Yellow and blue tags along it make me think of Mom's blue eyeshadow, Dad and sand inside the water, Mom's yellow plasticky kitchen table, Sand's red lips, Mom and Dad doing it in the pleather bench seat of the truck. Mom said I should go on birth control because it's bad to get pregnant this young. I fake gag and she says, "You just wait." Next story I'll read a bit from is Tom and Jerry, and it is about a mom who's returning to her son after being away in a prison for over a year. She's on a date at an improv class. The leader explained the rules for a game called Tom and Jerry and points to Biddy. Every bit of attention feels like an internet search. Biddy imagines eyes calculating, like she's a slot machine. Hit and run, drunken slut, Biddy Malone mugshot. 3 images together that are causing the machine to go ding, ding, ding. But people's eyes get stuck. Maybe they aren't really even thinking about her. Or maybe she's acting guilty and the machine freezes. The way details stick and don't. What's your name? Biddy. Betsy? No, Biddy. What? Like a little bitty piece of cake spelled B-I-D-D-Y. Oh, Biddy. Okay. Hello, Biddy. You want to be Tom or Jerry? Who? You know, Tom the mouse or Jerry the cat from the TV show. Biddy freezes and then nods fast. Yeah, this is the nod, her nod. with a pretend and no smile she uses to act like she's normal. Her parents believe TV and magazines and most cartoons corrupt your soul. She'd been homeschooled and barred from reading books from the library and afraid because her mom would be in her room praying the devil would leave them alone. So Tom or Jerry, the lady says. Jerry. And who should be the cat? Huh? You know, the chaser, the cat. Eddie points to Mike and he smirks. Meow. Now Tom will chase you and he'll catch you and then he'll pretend to eat you. Everyone in the circle must work to keep you safe, Jerry, okay? There's a silence as Biddy looks at Mike and his eyes read, I'll devour you. Her arms ache from a zaps from the game before where he flopped his arms in her chest, her arms, her face. She hops inside the circle of people, her eyes down. Stupid, she mutters. Mike circles fast on the outside, lurching low and pushing on the wall of arms, pressing in the cracks between bodies. Leaders calling for the group to protect the circle. 30 more seconds, she says. Mike, break the chain of arms if you have to. Go, go. Mike grabs at her from across the circle and she leans back and ducks outside the circle and he's chasing her from behind. She turns and sticks out her hands and he tackles her to the ground, pinning her with his knees. There's no air and he's frisking her like she was talking back to an officer. He's loud and his face is red and she can't breathe. She wants to yell, get off me, but doesn't want to be in segregation again. So she goes limp and he mauls her arms and her face with his nails. She looks towards the leader, sees everyone staring, hears chanting, eat that mouse, eat that mouse. Now pretend to eat her, the lady says, and someone cheers. He nips and swats and yanks her hair, laughing, the mauling hands grating face, arms. Why had she worn a dress? She keeps her body limp, but the muscles cramp and she bucks and she tries to push him off. He whispers, don't say you didn't ask for it. Jumps up and reaches to help her. She looks to the window behind the group as the leader asks who wants to be the next Tom. There's a pain in her hip and she limps as she steps, keeping her eyes on a tree out front. The leader's gesturing for someone to make room, but Biddy waves and moves to the door, through the hall, down the stairs, through the exit, into the alley, all the way to the sidewalk. A block up is a green and white sign for O'Donovan's. Inside the empty bar are plastic books of fancy drinks. Raising her hand, she stares at a picture of beads of water on a glass brimming with milky brown. She orders a chocolate martini. Glancing overhead, she sees an upturned crate with a single bare light bulb dangling inside, like she's in a game of mousetrap, waiting for the box to fall and lock her inside. She rubs at the scratches on her arms, wondering if Mike will leave class and come looking for her, or continue with the games. She prays to never see him again, though that's impossible since he lives right next door. Biddy's phone buzzes, and she almost falls off the stool. Taking a breath, she pulls it out, sees her sister's face, pale cheeks, dark, pulled, tight bun. She puts it in her pocket, then pulls it out again. Hello? Why are you in a bar? I'm not. Where's Sam? He's fine. For real? Yeah, why? Biddy says. I stopped over to grab my computer and found him screaming his head off. I tracked your dumbass phone and I see you're at a bar. Have you lost your mind? No. Shit. I'm just feeling... The bartender lays down a napkin, shakes the tumbler, pours the thick brown liquid in the triangle top glass. It's 8 days and you're already back at it? Biddy pictures her sister shaking her head side to side. Jojo, who watched Sam for 18 months while she was away, who owns stacks of reusable co-op grocery bags, a phone manufactured in the U.S., and fair trade underwear. Through the line, a lawnmower zzzz. You outside? Biddy asks. For real, what are you doing? I'm trying, I swear. For real? Yes. But then Biddy thinks about Mike, about her son, about the drink in front of her. Shit, Joe, I guess I'm a shit. She slips out the door. Listen, it's not all your fault, Joe says. Yeah, it's my fault. You had no choice about Dad or school or even the time away. Jojo sniffs. Are you going to cry? No. Yes, you are. Biddy says, I'm making you cry again. Just I feel so bad about you. I really miss Sam. And honestly, I don't know how to help without wanting to control everything. Come have a drink. Well, that'll solve it. How about you get your sorry ass home? I didn't even drive here. You plan to get drunk? No. You're with someone, Jojo says. Who is it? Mike. A guy? For real? Stop saying for real. You're on a date a week after? Biddy's outside, her eyes searching the door where the improv group will spill out, but no one does. He's terrible too, Biddy says. Her eyes ducks pooling water. You should see the welts on my arms. Shit, what happened? Tears flow now. Biddy's fists are balls gripping themselves in an attempt to control the flow of blood, liquid fear. Why attract them, I swear. Or maybe I just can't stand myself. I'll come get you. No, I'll walk, Biddy says. My tracker says you're like over 3 miles away. It's 3 miles. I'm allowed to travel on my own in one direction. Okay, you walk. I'll be here. And thus ends my graduate showcase.